I had heard in Mykonos that Bao's has 2-for-1 cocktails for sunset, like a sunset happy hour, but I had no idea what I was actually getting into. So you're gonna love this video, guys. Welcome back to my Greek island series where I'm telling you everything I did with Celestyal cruise ships. Today we're talking all things Mykonos, and Mykonos is a tendering island. This means in order to get off the boat, you're going to have to get a disembarkment number, and then you're going to have to take a little shuttle boat over to the mainland. If you're doing an excursion in Mykonos, you're going to be some of the first people off of the boat. We decided not to do an excursion with Mykonos because since it's a walkable city, I knew that we would have an easy time getting around and navigating, and we also wanted to have some really good Greek food, and I knew Mykonos would not disappoint. So as you dock in port in Mykonos, there's a couple of different options for you to get over to the main things over there. We were really lucky and we had beautiful weather, so we decided to just walk. It's about a 15-minute walk, but if you want to use this, you could do the sea bus, and it's only €2 and it drops you right in the middle of the action. But honestly, by the time you get on and off the boat, it will have taken you at least 15 minutes anyway, so I suggest just walking if you can. As we were walking, there's a little beach over here with a little mermaid rock, which I thought was really cute. And while you're walking, be careful because there are cats everywhere and they're so friendly and they walk right up to you. They'll walk like right under your feet. So just be careful where you're walking in Mykonos. Also be careful because a lot of the streets are kind of like pebbles, kind of like really slick pebbles, or they're these really slick slate. The whole city itself is also very white, and you may even see people like repainting the white spots. It's really funny. I didn't want to film anybody, but we definitely saw some people repainting, so just watch where you're stepping with paint as well. We kind of walked around the city and took a bunch of photos, and we ended up over at this windmill where this cat became my tour guide. Then it even like paused for a photo here with us. It was really funny. But the sun was starting to go down, so it was time to go find some food because I wanted to go to the other windmills over there for sunset. Mykonos is definitely a lot of walking, so just be careful what shoes you wear because as you can see here, it's kind of a bumpy road. You're also going to be going down a bunch of stairs and up a bunch of stairs. The majority of Mykonos is pretty hilly unless you stay down in the old port area. And while you guys are walking, just remember that people actually live here, so try to be respectful because sometimes you'll see people hanging up their clothes and things. Just let people live and enjoy the moment. You'll be able to take your photos down here in the main area. This is where all the shopping is, and there's plenty of photo opportunities and plenty of flowers and things like that to take photos with. You'll also see a lot of tour guides in this area. There's a bunch of churches and things, so feel free to stop and listen to them or check out the cats. And then over in the shopping area, they've got anything you can think of. There's clothes, there's food, there's souvenirs, all kinds of things. So I really suggest kind of looking around, seeing what catches your eye. But the majority of souvenirs that I got down in the old port area because that's where it was cheapest. Up here, it's more like Louis Vuitton and that sort of thing. We stumbled upon this little place and it was so cute. They bake their own pasta here and they had a really good seafood menu, so they kind of checked all the boxes for us. I got the sea bass that came with pasta. It was so yummy. And I noticed some of the color changing on the buildings nearby, so I ran to go get the sunset while my friend paid the check for us. And then they met me back down here, but look at this, guys. This is what everybody talks about. You could see on the buildings how it kind of reflects. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's time for the sunset. I gotta go down there. So check out this sunset. It was beautiful. Here's the old port area. And then over here underneath the windmills is where I got my souvenirs. They were super affordable over here, so I highly recommend getting souvenirs there. We still had a few hours left, so we definitely wanted to go and get a cocktail. I know there's this place, Bao's, which I see all the time online, and I was like, I need to go find it. Also, is that tree painted or is that the color of the tree? I kept stopping and staring at everything. My friend was getting so annoyed with me. So as you walk down this street, there's just a whole bunch of bars right next to each other, and it kind of dead ends into this restaurant. So all of them have their own little vibe. Like Bow's here had a swing in it, so I was really excited to go in there, but I wanted to show you guys what other kinds of things they have over here as well. Now, there's bars upstairs, downstairs, right next to the water. This whole street is just filled with bars. So we headed over to Bow's because they've got really good signature cocktails. And like I said, it was sunset happy hour, so we got 2-for-1 drinks. And then next thing you know, a saxophone player started playing, which was super cool because when you see this view, the vibe was just perfect. It was like saxophone playing, looking out into this water. It was just like such a moment, such a vibe. I totally understand now why people are obsessed with Mykonos. And the cool thing is they have the water lit up from underneath, so you can see right through the water and you get the reflection from the sun going down. It's just so blue and so pretty over here. And you can watch the waves come up onto the shore, and literally the pathway is right here, so people are just walking up and down that path, jumping from, you know, bar to bar. You also can see the cruise ships and things in the distance and the other restaurants. And we still had some time to kill, so we just kind of bounced around and looked at the different paintings and things in the area. There's some really cool paintings in Mykonos. I was really impressed. I really had to resist in Mykonos, honestly, because they had so much cool stuff. I was just like, do I need another purse? Do I need another dress? You know, you start looking around and everything just looks so cool. There's also a bunch of really old boats in the harbor over here, so if you're looking to take photos, another good stop to make is right over here. And then we walked past this one place that was just cutting up meat right in front of us, and I was like, should we stop and have more dinner? But we had to start heading back to the boat because it was time to go. So we tendered back to the boat, and it was so pretty to see Mykonos all lit up and the windmills all lit up, and just being on the boat and seeing this horizon was so pretty. That night on the boat, we decided to watch the show. The show was really fun. It was like a Latin night, so I'll give you a little glimpse into that because that was really fun. And after the show, we went over and watched some of the jazz band that was playing. And when we finally got back to the room, this little guy was waiting for us. We were going to Celestyal tomorrow in Turkey, but I'll make that video later on in the series. Let's recap. So when you get to Mykonos, you're going to have to tender off of the boat. This takes probably about half an hour or so, depending on which disembarkment number you are. Now, excursion is a tricky one because they have a lot of cool excursions in Mykonos. Like I said, we wanted to walk around and I wanted to take photos and videos and things. So it's really up to you, but they do have a really good amount of excursions with Celestyal Cruise Line. The port to the main stuff is only about 15-minute walk. If you want to bounce around and see some things by yourself, like the beach, I would suggest getting a rental. It just gives you that freedom to really roam and go wherever you want to go. And then in terms of spending, I spent a lot here because I got a really nice kind of throw over Mykonos jacket for around 50 euros. And then I got a bunch of little souvenirs and I got some gifts for my coworkers and things here. So I spent a lot of money in Mykonos. And then for dinner, we both had an entree and 2 glasses of wine, which wasn't too bad. 48 bucks each isn't bad. That's going to be it for Mykonos, but make sure you hit that subscribe because tomorrow I am talking all things Patmos, and we rented a scooter and found this amazing hidden treasure. Drop a blue heart in the comments if you're adding Mykonos to your bucket list, and feel free to ask me any questions and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, for more Greek islands, check out this playlist here, and I'll see you in that next video.